Hello, welcome to another edition of The Strategist. So in this episode, I've been looking at people playing Atlantis, and I've been experimenting with some different things that seem to be working pretty well. You don't have to be the strongest to play it. You don't need to fight and control that if you just want to score some points. One of the best ways to score some points is basically gathering. Let's see, Atlantis is coming up shortly. That's not the right one. Atlantis is coming up shortly. Registration is in 7 hours and 51 minutes. So here is a map of Atlantis. Normally you start at one of these areas down here, the top or the bottom, and then you control the crystals. Let's see if I can get a crystal to come up. Okay, well, it won't let me. But anyway, the way it works is gathering crystals will get you a lot of points. So what you do is you set up your troops to be T1 cavalry. The reason for T1 cavalry is they are the fastest, they're the cheapest, and they carry the most. So you load your guys with T1 cavalry, okay? All marches. And then you're in a protected zone so that no one can attack you. You launch from your protected zone and you hit the closest big crystal to you with your strongest force. That, if you do it right, will score you over 1,000 points every time. At back and forth, you can get, it depends on how fast you can go. If you got another one that's the same size, you can get 1,000 points coming and going every few minutes, or every minute. You can line it up, or a minute and 20, whatever it takes you to walk it. Now, the other part of it that is very, very important is your beast. Here's an example. This beast is a 20, the march speed. I look at the march speed for the sloth because it is a universal, so it works with everything. So a 20 march speed makes your speed pretty fast. Then I also use, let's see if I can find it right here. I also use the, however you pronounce it, the big bear, Arcticus, I don't know. Anyway, I'm calling it a bear. And as you can see, when you expand it up, it's a 19, but when it's fully expanded, it's a 30. See, the march speed goes up to 30 when it's maxed out. So those are easy to get. Since I'm only using T1 cavalry, that's all I want is those, either what I want to call a bear, or the sloth, or the woolly mammoth, if it's fast enough. The speed is what you're looking for. You need to get there, get back, get there, get back, get there, get back. The fastest you can do that, the more points you can score. Because again, if you're set up in the little triangle areas, the protected areas, when you get hit, you start out your game there, you just move it up here to the corner, one of the corners, and then you have easy access to the farthest one of the it would do that. But you go straight ahead, and you got a big one right there. Then you go straight to the other side, you got another one over there. The little ones are closer, so if you get faster, you can get there and get back a bunch of times. But if you just develop one of your marches to have a full complement, that's awakened heroes, all at all skill level 1 and skill level 6 at 10, you're going to be carrying close to 300,000 troops. Maybe a little bit less, but it's going to be pretty high up there. That is all you should be worried about going and getting on these things. You hit this, you get it. You hit it, you get it. You keep repeating it. Now, yes, there's other ways you can play where you can move into an area once you secure it, but it's only going to be secured for a short time. The time that you get there and get back a few times, they're going to make you go back to where you started from. And then you're going to have to move it back around and then start going again. It's easier to stay in a centered lost spot and keep sending it. There's another way you can do it, is where you have 2 marches that are fully ready to go. You send one out. If it's a minute 10 up and a minute 10 back, right? That's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But what if you launch one, it goes up at a minute and 10, hits it, you send the next one up from the same spot to the same spot, it's going to get there in 1 minute and 10 seconds. You'll be scoring your 1,000 points or 1,300 points or whatever every 1 minute and 10 seconds or whatever your speed is. If you can get that much speed going in them and you can get that much going, you can score 1,000 points every minute, 10 seconds of the competition. Competition is an hour. So if you can do it in that time, then you're going to score a lot of points. I average, this is regardless of what the other team is doing. They can control that all they want to. They're not going to stop you from scoring your points. You need to get 30,000 points to maximize your scoring level, your personal scoring level, so you can get max rewards yourself, which is something you should do, is get those max rewards. And then you can start doing other things. But until you develop if you're going against a strong team, then they're going to control that and they're going to keep your scores down. They're going to win anyway, so don't play that game with them. Develop yourself where you can it's easier to get T1 troops and to get 3 heroes maxed. Level 10 on skill 1 and skill 6. That way you can get your troops going. If you get one of them going, that's 1,000 every 2 minutes and 20 seconds. If you can get 2 of them going, that's 1,000 points every 1 minute and 10 seconds. That's faster. You can only have one march going towards one crystal every so often. I mean, you can only have one at a time going towards a march, is what I meant to say. So you could send them to your other 2 marches to something else. You could have it go to the mid-range one right there, which is the closest one to you. You have 2 of those marches. They could split time going between that, scoring you some points every whatever it takes them to get there and it gets back. So you could develop yourself into a good Atlantis winning machine, scoring your points, regardless of what they do. Yeah, they're going to score a lot of points, but you can score a lot of points too. If they're controlling those things, they're going to control them anyway. Why not develop yourself a way to score some points? You could develop yourself all the way up where you could score almost over 100,000 points every time you play. You could do that. It's possible. It's highly possible. And if you've got 20 people doing that, and they're all doing the same thing, that's going to be 1 million. 100,000 points times 10 is 1 million. Times 20 is 2 million. You're going to score 2 million points just off gathering. So what are they going to do? They're going to score quite a few points, but they'd score quite a few points anyway. And if you're fighting them, you're not getting very many points for fighting them. It doesn't really work that well, because when you kill or wound their troops, yeah, sure, it knocks them down a little bit, but you're only going to get like 1, 2, or 3, 4, or 5 points. You're not going to get a whole heck of a lot of points from that. Yes, you'll get points by controlling them, controlling the buildings and stuff. But, if you did this and you had your whole crew out here doing this, you can score some good points against them. And, that's what I've been doing. And you can average, depending on what level you're at, I have got one that's averaging like 50,000 points. 50,000 points. It's only got one fully marched, a march that's fully marched. A march that has all of its complements. What I mean by that is it has 3 heroes that are maxed and awakened. So that means they're 10 skill on 1 and 6. And they have their troops, around 200,000, 300,000, something like that. That's really good. That gets you enough to get you some points. Like I said, I average about 50,000 points for that one. You can do that. Most of the time, if you're gathering, you're going to be one of the top ones gathering. Several times I won the MVP just by gathering, where my other people were trying to fight and take over different things, and actually they still lost. as far as the points totals goes. So it's easier points just hitting the crystals. And there's different methods, like I was saying, but just develop you one march. Fill it with T1 Calvary. Don't worry about all that other stuff. It's not going to be as fast as T1 Calvary, and it's not going to carry as many as T1 Calvary. So do yourself a favor, develop your T1 Cavalry force for Atlantis. You can also use the T1 troops. I always use T1 troops for gathering resources. It's kind of crazy not to. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, I have 4 marches out. They're all T1 Cavalry. See, I only sent, 11,424. Why'd you do that? I'm only collecting a certain amount of resources. No matter how many marches, how many troops you send out there, you're still going to gather at the same rate. So since they're T1 Cavalry, if somebody decides to hit them, they're only going to get 11,000 points. That's hardly worth their time. Yes, I understand that most of the time they're not supposed to do that, or most of the time they're not doing that, but unless your chief decides that, hey, I'm going to get a peaceful gathering, you can still get hit. You may as well learn how to gather like this. You're still getting your points. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here, I'm going to eat a fully or ripe fig. Let's show you here. I'm going to get that. See, I ate that. Now I'm going to show you what my points are. I'm going to show you what my points are right now. Today's mission. The times 2 means that I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But see, I'm at 28,311. 28,300,000, whatever. Anyway, 28.31 million. All right, that's where I'm at. Now, I'm going to call these guys in. Okay, you have to go to this screen. We'll get there in a minute. And I'll bring these... Stop. I'll bring all these in. Okay. So you see, you're bringing in the full allotment of what you've gathered. Okay. So we go back up here. I didn't gather enough there, but I did get that. That went from 28 million to 42 million. It's not enough for the next thingy, but that's all right. All right, well, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is how you play Atlantis, and you can do this instantly. Anyone can make. You can make T1 troops, T1 cavalry troops, falling off the wagon when you first start the game. You know, at least you can score some points. So score yourself some points. Get yourself at least get yourself the minimum amount where you can get the maximum reward for Atlantis on your personal setting. All right, well, thank you. Have a good one.